Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Logan Blackman Show. I hope you all had a fantastic couple weeks. I do apologize for not keeping up with you guys, for not uploading an episode the past week. I was just so gosh dang tired the past week that I just didn't have the energy to really record a show, because I always record the show in the evening, like later in the evening. So when it got to that point, I'd sit back and like, man, okay, I could start recording a show. But when I get a show recorded, 90% of the time thereabout, it starts recording at like 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes. And so I'm not going to bed until about 11:30 or midnight, because I got to make sure it uploaded to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, to YouTube, all that great stuff. Got to come up with the descriptions, titles, tags, all of that great stuff. So when it gets to that point, and last week I just didn't have the energy to do it. So I do apologize for all of that. This week I'm back. We're recording at 6:30 right now. So this is like an extremely early time for the Logan Blackman Show to be recorded. But before we get into what we're going to talk about today, let's go over the housekeeping items first. Make sure to follow the Logan Blackman Show on every single form of social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find me on Twitter at Logan_Blackman. Instagram account's Blackman Logan. The show's Instagram account is The Logan Blackman Show 1. Facebook and YouTube, search The Logan Blackman Show. Make sure you like and follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the YouTube channel, not just the main channel, which has a Gold Cup preview video. We just uploaded that on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which one exactly, but make sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel, the main channel. But also, make sure to subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel as well. If you're listening to it on there, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. At the end of the video, I'm not going to ask you to do anything crazy like that right now, but if you enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up at the end of it. And as for Apple Podcasts and Spotify, follow, subscribe, all that great stuff. Make sure to leave a rating out of 5 stars and leave a description down below on why you feel the way you do. You can also go to loganblackmanshow.com and check out all those links on there as well as blog posts. Don't have any blog posts out for you right now, per se. I mean, we just had one a few weeks ago, or about a month ago probably now, where it was the way too early 2026 quarterback prospect range for that upcoming draft. So that's an interesting blog post. I'm biased, of course, but I would appreciate if you guys went to go check that out, even though it was from a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, a month ago. I don't remember how long ago exactly, but the video that we just uploaded on YouTube is the 2025 Gold Cup preview. The Gold Cup is a tournament that is pretty much designed for the United States and Mexico to meet in the final every single freaking year. That's how it's designed to be. Like, if you look at the history of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, if you just look at the history of it, how many times do you think either Mexico or the United States have won the tournament? What would be your guess? Okay? So let's go through. Let's just go through it, okay? Let's just go through. We can go through each year. So it started all the way back in 1991. And we got one this year, obviously. So we're going from 91 all the way up to 2025. So 91, the United States won the inaugural one. Then 93 was Mexico. 96 it was Mexico. 98 it was Mexico. 2000 was Canada. So right before Y2K, no other team was. So Y2K, really, that was what the problem was. Everybody talked about the computers taking over and all that stuff. No, it was Canada finally getting their hands on the monstrous Gold Cup trophy. I would very much recommend you go find pictures of what the Gold Cup trophy used to look like. Like, this thing is freaking monstrous. It is the biggest trophy I think I've ever seen. Like, it gives the Stanley Cup a run for its money in regards to being the most outlandishly sized trophy. But at least the Stanley Cup has a history behind it. The Gold Cup was just big for no reason. Like, it was just one of those things. We're just absolutely big for no reason. But Canada won in 2000. And then during the turn of the millennia, we've got 2002 in the United States, Mexico 2003, United States 05, United States 07, Mexico 09, Mexico 2011, United States 2013, Mexico 2015, United States 2017, Mexico 2018, United States 2021, and Mexico in 2023. In total, okay? So in the grand scheme of the Gold Cup, there have been 17 Gold Cups up to this point. The United States and or Mexico have won all but that one that Canada won in 2000. All but one of them have not had the United States or Mexico win the tournament. And in this tournament, Mexico and the United States have faced each other in the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So 7 out of the 17 times they've met each other in the final. But in the perfect world, the United States and Mexico are supposed to meet in the final. If you look at the most recent history, barring Jamaica making the final back-to-back years or back-to-back sessions from 15 to 17, It's been pretty much the United States and Mexico for the most part. Panama's creeped in there once. You had Brazil in 2003, Costa Rica in 2002, Colombia in 2000, Brazil again in 96, Honduras in 91. And obviously, Brazil and Colombia don't usually partake in the Gold Cup because the Gold Cup is a CONCACAF competition. CONCACAF is the United States, Canada, Mexico, and all the Caribbean and all the Central American teams. Brazil and Colombia are incompatible. That is South America. So that's Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Chile, Uruguay, all those teams. That's all those countries. Like, this is a regional tournament. Now, they usually invite a team here and there. Like, this year, Saudi Arabia got invited to the tournament. Like, you look back in the past 2 Gold Cups, I believe, we had Qatar featuring in the tournament. So they'll sometimes invite a team from a different confederation over to participate in the Gold Cup. But for the most part, it's usually the teams that are, no disrespect, a lot lower than the United States and Mexico on the world ranking scale. And apart from, like, if you look at Canada, in their history of soccer, it's only been recently where they are actually competing with the likes of United States and Mexico in regards to winning Gold Cup tournaments. And they didn't really perform well in the last Gold Cup. No. They did not perform the greatest there. Obviously lost to the United States in that one. They came second in their group, I believe, in that was I think 2021 they came second in their group. Lost to the United States in the knockout stage in that one too. That was in Kansas City. I was at that game. Canada, prior to that though, like if you want to even look at the World Cup, like Canada's got this quote-unquote golden generation, which I hate that tag because it puts really unrealistic expectations on a national team. Like, what is a golden generation? Like, it's supposed to be the best players ever, all coming together for a country for a one specific goal. But usually when you think about that, it's like you're going on to win something. Like England's golden generation from the early 2000s, like David Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, Paul Scholes, Rooney, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Ashley Cole. Like, that was a golden generation. They didn't even qualify for Euro 2008. Like, this golden generation tag is kind of a curse. I don't really know if we've had a successful golden generation. Apart from Spain, from 08, 10, and 2012, Euro 2012, apart from that, I don't really know if we could consider, like, a successful golden generation, where it was something like that. France, I know, will get talked about quite a bit, but they didn't really put up a showing in the last Euros, so no one's really going to talk about that, but they have made back-to-back World Cup finals, so there's something to be said about that as well. But this golden generation tag is something that's playing in the United States right now. But back to Canada real quick. If you look prior to this quote-unquote golden generation, Canada since 2000, actually since 1990, had made one World Cup, and that was in 2022, where they ironically won or came atop the standings in World Cup qualifying for CONCACAF. They've only made one other World Cup, and that was in 1986. So the year they won the Gold Cup in 2000, they could not springboard that into going to the World Cup in 2002. Like, it's only been recent that Canada has been a team that's actually realistically challenging the likes of the United States and Mexico in these tournaments. Like, you've had people like Jamaica and Panama, Honduras, like these teams have caught, and Costa Rica, these teams have all got problems, but they don't really, unless it's on a neutral side, or if it's an away game, like if you're going down to Honduras, that's an insane place to play. Like, unless you're going down there, most of the time, I would argue 95% of the time, the United States and or Mexico should be the favorite in that game. There's obviously there's some give and take in there. It's not like, oh, there's situations that could vary in there, how serious the team takes it and that not. But these teams also will play up to beat the United States. And that's not me saying like the United States has some divine right to be considered one of the best national teams in soccer. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you see the badge of the United States and know you're playing the United States of America and you're one of those countries that you would see the United States as big, bad United States, one of the world's biggest superpower, the biggest superpower in the world, you want to beat them. You want to embarrass them because at any point, them beating you is an embarrassment. Like if the United States loses to a team like Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago like in 2017, like if you lose to those teams, countries that are minuscule comparatively to the size of the United States, that's an embarrassment for the United States. Not only that, but the world in general kind of makes fun of the United States and soccer culture in the United States. So anytime these teams go up against the United States, they want to beat them. And it's not because the United States has some big-time national team power here. No, it's not that at all. But they want to beat them. And the United States, in the past couple tournaments, you look at the Copa America, you look at the Nations League, have not put up a good showing. You can go, well, Logan, they made it to the semifinals of the Nations League. That's pretty impressive. That's the least that they should do. That's the least. That is the bare minimum. And what happened when they lost to Panama in the 2020 in the Nations League semifinal? What happened? It was an embarrassment that a team with the size and the resources that the United States has loses to a team like Panama. That's not good. That's not good. Panama can look at that, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Panama, but a team like Panama can make it to the semifinals of the Nations League, and that can be considered a win. Anything past that is beautiful, is perfect. But now we're at a point where the United States is we're starting to see people question the loyalty and bravado and all that great stuff for the United States men's national team. The pride of playing for your national team has never been more of a talking point than right now. And it does not help that the United States is losing all the time now. Like the Christian Pulisic saga, something that I brought up a couple weeks ago, because remember when we went over the 60-man preliminary squad, I was like, okay, Christian Pulisic's on there. Obviously, he's going to be a part of the squad. He's the United States' best player, arguably the best player in the world, for the United States. I almost said best player in the world. Best player for the United States in the world. N.T. Robinson will obviously have something to say about that. Weston McKennie's been playing really, really well for Juventus as well. But in regards to the best player currently in the world for the United States' perspective, it's Christian Pulisic. He's the most talented player the United States has ever had. He is the most hyped player the United States has had since Freddie Adu. When he came in at 17 years old, it's oh my God, this is the future of United States soccer. And now we are questioning his loyalty and how much he actually cares about being for the national team because he has sat out the Gold Cup because he's been playing a shit ton of minutes this year. And you see players like Landon Donovan coming out and speaking ill of Christian Pulisic about I can't take this. Oh my God, he's got to play for the national team. It was always an honor. I don't feel like he's ever really cared about playing for the national team. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he was pissed. I watched Spain versus Portugal in the UEFA Nations League where Portugal won on penalties. And this is a side note. I never understand teams not playing a player and then deciding, hey, we're going to line them up in the shootout. It's a stupid idea. England did that in Euro 2020, even though it was in 2021. They did that the same thing. It was Rashford, Sancho. Why are they taking penalties? They haven't played. They're not in rhythm at all. I know it's just you're lined up and kicking a ball, but you have to be in some sort of rhythm. You have to be at least somewhat warm, and just jogging up and down on the sideline doing high knees and butt kicks is not going to warm you up and get you to that point in the game. Because now you just went from sitting on the bench or warming up to now you're taking a high-pressured penalty. And Alvaro Morata missed his penalty. He didn't even come close to making it. It was a terrible penalty. And I wasn't shocked in the slightest. But you had Bruno Fernandes after the game talking about the pride he has for playing for Portugal, and that just lit Landon Donovan up. That lit him up right there. And he went ballistic on Christian Pulisic. And Donovan and Pulisic have never had, the greatest relationship of all time. Pulisic's always been quick to say Clint Dempsey's the greatest American soccer player of all time. I have as well. And Landon Donovan is somebody who is widely considered to be at least a top 2 player in the United States men's national team history. Top 2. Because I would always say Dempsey. I wore number 8 in soccer because of Clint Dempsey. Landon Donovan was great. He gave us the moment against Algeria and stuff like that in the World Cup. But Dempsey, to me, was always the best player the United States ever produced at that point in time. I think Pulisic has a chance to become that, but as for here and now, it is still Clint Dempsey in my eyes. But Landon Donovan, the reason that a lot of people, you obviously got people that are like, oh yeah, he's the greatest of all time. And there's people that say Dempsey's the greatest of all time. And some people could view that as strictly the player, and that's what I do. I view it strictly as what they did as players for the national team and what they did at club level. Clint Dempsey at Fulham was levels above what Landon Donovan was doing. I know he went to Bayern Munich for a cup of coffee, but didn't really do anything apart from that. Dempsey dragged Fulham to a Europa League final. Clint Dempsey was that guy. But Donovan definitely soured people after the stuff that was leading up to the 2014 World Cup. And for those of you who don't remember what this is, and I was saying this to my dad when we were watching the Nations League game when Donovan was going off in this little rampage, it's this is the last dude that should be saying this. Landon Donovan took a sabbatical from 2013 to 2014 and then threw a hissy fit that he wasn't included in the World Cup squad. Do I think Landon Donovan at that point in time was better than Mix Diskerud? Of course I do. I'm not stupid. But at that same point, you took a year off from the national team. You're not somebody who should be throwing a hissy fit about not going to the World Cup. Tim Howard took a sabbatical as well. He got benched for Brad Guzan. That's what happens. You sat out the national team. Someone took your spot. And you have to come and get it back. And we've already lost that little bit of trust in there because you just decided I'm going to sit out for a year. Like, Landon Donovan is really not the person that should be saying this. And I thought it was funny that him and Tim Howard had a podcast together. They were both talking about it. Both of you took sabbaticals from the national team. Both of you are two of the greatest players in the United States men's national team history. I don't want to take anything away from those players. But from this talking point, I don't really think they have the qualities to be discussing this. Like, if Clint Dempsey has something to say about it, then I would understand. Because Clint Dempsey, every single time, and I'm not going to question what Donovan and Howard did during their time with the national team. I'm not going to sit here and act like we questioned them or whatever. But this whole era of the United States men's national team, where it's like, this is the golden generation. Which, again, like I talked about before, is like a poison chalice. Like, it's a great title to have, but it just heaps on so much unnecessary expectation on a team that really has no realistic shot at winning a World Cup. Like, everybody in the national media tries to talk about this, about the United States potentially winning a World Cup. That's not going to happen. As good as these players are, they're not compared to, like, Spain, to Portugal, to France, to any of these other national teams in Europe, let alone the likes of Brazil and Argentina and those guys. That's not realistic to ever think that this team could win a World Cup. It's not. And you can talk about, the development in soccer in the United States is great. Yeah, it is. But the view of the national team right now is at the lowest it's ever been in my lifetime anyways. Barring when they missed the World Cup in 2017. Barring the time they lost to Trinidad and Tobago in 2017, this is the most negative I've ever seen people talk about the United States men's national team. The United States has lost 3 consecutive games in a row. 3 consecutive games. Mauricio Pochettino is the first United States men's national team manager in 10 years to lose 3 straight games. And these losses aren't to world powers, it's to Panama, Canada, and Turkey. And I understand the United States didn't really put out, like, the greatest squad of all time against Turkey. Didn't have, like, your best players available. Turkey had, like, of Yildiz, Arda Güler in there. Like, they had some of their better players in there. The United States didn't. Yes, Tyler Adams came on at halftime, but still, you cannot lose 3 games in a row. It's kind of funny, if you go to Mauricio Pochettino on FootMob, the last 4 matches he's had are against Turkey, Canada, Panama, and then he was the manager of Team Chunks and Speed in that charity match that we talked about in that video after the Gold Cup. Like, I don't think there's been a point in time where there's been more negativity around the United States in their national team. And it's not about talent, but a lot of it is about the will, the pride of playing for your national team. So Landon Donovan, in my opinion, is the wrong person to be talking about this Christian Pulisic thing. But it's not saying that his point is completely invalid either. Like, he's not somebody that should be sitting there spouting off what he did, because he did the exact same thing. And Christian Pulisic has not played in a Gold Cup since 2019. But this has all of a sudden become a big thing because the United States has sucked the last 2 tournaments they've been a part of. Like, this would not have been a problem had the United States won the Nations League, or had the United States actually qualified out of the group stage in the Copa America. This would not be seen as that big of an issue. But the writing is on the wall that, hey, we're playing like complete ass, and people are questioning our pride in the national team. Now I'm going to sit out. But again, I understand that players need break. Christian Pulisic was the most used American soccer player in the world this past year. And also with Landon Donovan talking about the grind of the European schedule versus an MLS schedule, that's not really comparable. I'm sorry, but it's just not. It's just not. And the MLS season just freaking started not that long ago. Like, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. But again, it is still frustrating, but I understand it. And that's what's so annoying about this whole situation. And the United States is playing Switzerland tonight. I don't really have that much, like, thought of them winning the game tonight. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you look at the teams that they have going out there right now, like Gregor Kobel is one of the best goalkeepers in Europe, lining up for Switzerland. Manuel Akanji, who starts for Manchester City. Yes, they had a down year this past year, but consistently one of the best teams in Europe. Granit Xhaka has been on fire for Bayer Leverkusen since joining them from Arsenal. Like, this is a Switzerland team that's got some good players in and around this squad. And the United States is trotting out a lineup that is really not great. Like, Matt Turner's in net. Matt Turner's the captain for the game tonight. You got Nathan Harriel, Walker Zimmerman, Mark McKenzie, and Max Armstead as the back line. Johnny Cardoso, who gave up one of the worst goals that I've seen a United States player give up in a long time in the game against Turkey. I would recommend you guys go look that up. Sebastian Berhalter's also starting. They got Paxton Aronson, Brendan Aronson, Quinn Sullivan, and Brian White. Like, that's not a lineup, and all like, try not to be a complete ass. That lineup does not fill me with much hope for this Gold Cup. And again, that goes back to what's happened the past few days. You can even go back to the 2023 Gold Cup. Like, I was perfectly fine with the United States bringing weaker squads to Gold Cups in the past. Like, I understood it. It was like you're building the rest of the roster. I understand that. The United States realistically should have a player pool that should be able to navigate through the Gold Cup. And they could still go on and do that, but you look at the Gold Cup in 2023, the Copa America in 24, the Nations League this year. I'm sorry, I'm not really filled with the utmost hope in this team. And you can understand why people are frustrated with how the United States is looking, and you hope that some of these players that are in the Gold Cup, like Jack McGlynn, can be somebody that can push on Diego Luna, who I just saw on Transfermarkt. He just had his value raised above Giovanni Reyna, which is not something that I ever thought I would see. And Giovanni Reyna is somebody that I think we should realistically talk about him looking at the MLS again. Like, just to get some minutes under his belt. He's just not freaking playing. Maybe that changes this upcoming season. But you're looking at someone like Reyna who's got all the talent in the world, but just, no, I don't know. Something's off. I don't know what it is, but something's off. Like, you had his whole dad thing last year, and Claudio Reyna, one of the best United States men's national team players of all time, but this isn't youth soccer. And Christian Pulisic's dad came out today, or the other day, and bashed Landon Donovan. It's like, Dad, I don't need you to come on social media and talk about this. This isn't youth soccer. Christian Pulisic can address it whenever he wants. I understand this is like, dad should do that, or parents should do that, back their kids and stuff like that. But this is not the time nor place. We just had this whole problem last year, or however many years ago in 2022. We just got over this. We don't need this again. Like, it's just bickering back and forth. Like, Donovan said something. Pulisic's dad said something. Weston McKennie said something. Dempsey said something. Eddie Johnson even said something. Like, everybody's got something to say about this squad. And that is why, with all of this circulating, why I'm not confident at looking at this team in the Gold Cup, and I'm partially nervous for what's going to take place in 2026. I'm partially nervous. Like, I saw something Alexi Law said if Mauricio Pochettino picks Pulisic. He's obviously going to pick Christian Pulisic in the World Cup squad. Obviously. But players like Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent was in the championship team of the season. He's talking about getting a move to Leeds United to join the Premier League this year. He didn't get invited to this squad for footballing reasons. Like, people like Brian White and Patrick Ajiming, I don't think are good enough to play for the national team, if I'm being 100% honest right now. But Josh Sargent has not scored in God knows how many years for the national team. Like, you got to find something to move on here. Like, you got to show me something. Otherwise, we're going to replace you. And there's a difference between that happened to Josh Sargent and that happened to Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic and Josh Sargent aren't even on the same playing field in regards to skill-wise and all that great stuff. Not even on the same stratosphere. So that's why you go like, well, why would he just pick Pulisic and not pick Sargent? No, it's not even close on who's the better player here. But going in, I do think someone like Tyler Adams should be the captain of the United States. He was the captain of the United States in the 2022 World Cup. I think this should be his captaincy. Everybody's always talked about Tyler Adams being like the vocal leader for the United States national team. He should just have the captaincy. I'm tired of this rotating captain thing. And that's kind of sad that that's the state of which we are in right now. There's no real leader. You could look at this in two ways, I guess. I guess you could look at it going like, there's no leaders in the squad, so we had to rotate it, or we have a bunch of leaders. But given the way the United States has been playing, I'm going to lean towards the former, because if we had all these leaders, they wouldn't be playing like this against teams like Panama. Again, no disrespect to Panama, but that's the reality. That's just the reality of the situation. Like, I don't think anybody would have a problem with Pulisic sitting out had the United States not coming fourth in the Nations League, losing to Panama and Canada. I really don't think anybody would have had an issue with it. But that, again, is what the problem is. The questions are being raised about the heart, the pride, all that great stuff, the effort. That's the last thing you want to get tried at or get criticized on as a player. You get criticized about like, oh, his footwork's not that great. Oh, he's not the fastest player in the world. But to get questioned on your effort, that's something everybody can do. You don't need to be physically gifted to give effort. You don't need to be the fastest player to give effort. You don't need to be the strongest, fastest rocket of a kick. You don't need any of that to just put forth effort. And that's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. Is Diego Luna better than Giovanni Reyna in regards to skill-wise? No. But the problem is Giovanni Reyna does not have that consistent effort in there. Diego Luna does. And if Diego Luna is willing to give that for the national team, he should always get picked over Giovanni Reyna. That's what we're at right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate this Gold Cup. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate this game against Switzerland. And you guys will obviously know what happened in the game. I don't know anything because I mean, it's 6:55. The game's about to start in 5 minutes. I don't know anything. But I'm nervous. And I'm nervous for the goalkeeping situation as well. Matt Turner is getting linked with a move to Lyon, which I think is a good move for him. Paris, who's the starting goalkeeper there, has been linked to a move with Roma, so he will be a starter again. And if there's a league to build confidence in as a goalkeeper, I think the French league would be a very good place to play. Except when you play PSG, but all the other games, you should be able to navigate that. Jonas Musa is getting linked with moves to Napoli, which that's a failing upwards. I get, like, he's not been great at AC Milan. So now he's going to go play for a team that just won a Scudetto and be in that midfield. And AC Milan finished what? I think 8th in Serie A this year? So that's an interesting move for Musa. And Johnny Cardoso is getting obviously linked with a move to Atletico Madrid. So, yeah, it's an interesting time. And I'm going to do a whole 2026 World Cup squad prediction video and all that great stuff in the coming weeks after the Gold Cup. I'll obviously do the game-by-game preview and stuff like that for the Gold Cup as well. And this group for the Gold Cup is tough. It is tough. I mean, you got Saudi Arabia, who are a dark horse. The United States, to my knowledge, have not played them. Harvey Renard's the manager, the guy who I wanted to replace Greg Berhalter originally as the United States head coach. And he obviously has won Africa Cup of Nations with Zambia. I said Togo in the video. I don't know what my brain was thinking that. I didn't even notice that when I was editing. When I was going, clicking through the video to see if everything was flowing smoothly, I came across that part. I was like, I said Togo? No, it's Zambia. He won with the Ivory Coast as well. Got a win against Argentina with Saudi Arabia. He's the kind of guy that I would have liked to have as the manager. I'm still giving time to Mauricio Pochettino. It hasn't been fun these past couple times, but hopefully these MLS guys that he's bringing through, like he keeps talking about, give more heart than the European guys. Maybe that's something that kicked the European guys in the ass to get them going. But you also got Trinidad and Tobago's giving the United States problems before. Haiti's given the United States problems before. So it's a tough group. It's a tough group. And the squad doesn't really fill anybody with that much joy and happiness and all that great stuff. But I'm excited to see players like Jack McGlynn. Scored another banger in that game against Turkey. Diego Luna, Malik Tillman. I'm really excited to see what those three guys do. I'm intrigued to see about the striker options. Haji Wright, will he play on the left? Will he play as a striker? Will they put Ajimang there? Will they put Brian White there? You've got Tyler Adams obviously in there. Luca De La Torre played well against Turkey, one of the better performers there. Center back partnerships, the back line scares me in general. They're not the most organized defensive team. Max Arfson's pretty much playing as a winger, and he doesn't really, not the greatest at tracking back, if we're being 100% honest. And Matt Turner's just not that great. So he didn't play against Turkey. That was Matt Freese, but we'll have to wait and see. All we can do is wait. Again, the Gold Cup doesn't start for a little bit now. Or a little bit. I mean, it starts in what? On Sunday. So, I mean, we don't have a ton of time here, but I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm pessimistic. I'm pessimistic about most things in my sports fandom, but I didn't think I'd be this pessimistic going to a Gold Cup. When I was doing the preview video, I had the United States coming in. They lose to Canada in the knockout stage. I don't remember the last time I said the United States in a CONCACAF Gold Cup where they would finish that low, where I'm being pessimistic about a tournament performance. I was obviously thought they were going to make it out of the group in Copa America. I wasn't say they were going to go to the semifinals or anything. I didn't say that, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But hey, at least I got my NFL team. At least I got the Bills. At least Iowa football should be fun this year as well. So like I've got good things. I got the Cubs. The Cubs are, I mean, they lost the Tigers, but they're playing the Phillies right now. Like I've got the Cubs at least. Blackhawks, the NHL draft's coming up here soon, so I got that to look forward to. So the Bulls are the Bulls, but all my other teams are fun. Manchester United's not great. Sporting Kansas City's not very great. But hey, you know what? We're looking on the bright side here. We're looking on the bright side. And while we're on the topic of this whole bright side thing, I wanted to go over something real quick. I saw this on Fox. No. Wait, hold on. I should stop real quick because the World Cup is actually, if I remember correctly, I just had my brain kicked back into motion. I'm pretty sure the World Cup is a year from today. Like when the podcast comes out. It's It's June 10th right now. The World Cup starts June 11th. Okay. So that's not, I shouldn't move on that quickly, I guess. Because I remember looking at that earlier today, and now it just popped back into my head. So June 11th. So a year from today is when the World Cup starts. And that's fun. It's a fun thing that happens, but it's still stressful. And you look at like the 94 World Cup of the United States, you got some different venues that are going on this year, like Arrowhead Stadium's put in there. Obviously, no Pontiac Silverdome, Soldier Field's not in there. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And where do I think the United States? Like if you look at the history of the host countries of the World Cup, in '94 the United States made the round of 16. I'd be pretty impressed if the United States made the round of 16. I'd be pretty impressed. Or round of 16. Well, what's the round? Is it like round of 32 now? Like I can't remember the expansions and all that stuff. Yeah, round of 32. Okay, the United States I think can make the round of 32. Or 16, sorry. I guess they make it round of 16. But I don't know. If I had to pick my team to win the World Cup right now, I know they just lost, but I'd probably say Spain. If I had to pick one right now, I would probably pick Spain. Obviously, Portugal's going to be good. Argentina are going to be fairly solid. Obviously, Messi and Ronaldo will be older, but they'll be fairly solid, I would imagine. You've also got, like, the Netherlands are going to be a solid team in there. France are obviously going to be really, really good. Mbappe is going to be playing well. England has got a very solid team there as well. So there's good teams. I don't know. I know Chile's not going to make the World Cup. They just lost to Bolivia today, so they're not making the World Cup. This is the third straight World Cup they have not made. I'm trying to think of, like, who could be Brazil. I don't know how good Brazil is going to be. I know they have Carlo Ancelotti as the manager, but I don't know. I mean, Vinicius is not the greatest when he puts on a Brazil jersey. He's not the greatest Brazil player. So I don't know about Brazil, if I'm being honest. But I would say my favorite is Spain. If I had to make a bold prediction, I might say Spain versus France in the final. That's probably a very lazy prediction. Germany is going to be good, but I would say I just think Spain's got it. I mean, Lamine Yamal will probably be a Ballon d'Or winner by that point in time. And if not at that point in time, he'll win it after that World Cup, I would imagine anyways. We'll see if he wins it this year. Ousmane Dembele is obviously the favorite as PSG just ran away with the Champions League against Inter Milan 5-0. So they're obviously he's going to be the obvious favorite. But Lamine Yamal, one could realistically say that he's just the best player in the world. And that's different than winning the Ballon d'Or, I guess, which is supposed to be what the Ballon d'Or is for, but it's not really what it's turned into. It's kind of just turned into who's won the most trophies. Like, I saw a thing the other day after Portugal beat Spain in the Nations League that Vitinha could he win the Ballon d'Or because he won a quadruple with PSG and he just won the Nations League. So that's 5 trophies. It's like, come on. Vitinha is a very, very good player. One of the better young midfielders in the world. But come on. Let's be serious. It was like when Jorginho came third in the Ballon d'Or. What are we doing here? Why is Jorginho third in the Ballon d'Or rankings? He's never been close to being the third best player in the world. Not even close. There's going to be some people that bitch and moan about Rodri winning it last year. Rodri, I have less of a problem winning it than Jorginho coming in third. Because Rodri is I would consider a generational holding midfielder. And you could say that wasn't even his best season with Manchester City, but coupling the fact that they won a European trophy, winning the Euros against England, it made sense. And I always found it funny, the guttural outrage that Vinicius didn't win it. He didn't have like this insane season. He didn't. He had a good season, But I don't really think last year you could be mad or say anybody robbed anybody because he wasn't like putting up insane numbers to win the Ballon d'Or. Was he probably the best player in the world? Probably. But Real Madrid's whole hissy fit with that whole thing, it just doesn't make no sense. It made no sense. So we'll have to wait and see. I would bet Ousmane Dembele wins the Ballon d'Or. Which, if you would have said that when he got pulled before halftime in the 2022 World Cup final against Argentina, I would have called you crazy. Obviously, he had talent, the best two-footed player in the world. Like, he's not even two-footed. He's just good with both. I guess it's two-footed, but he like in the penalty shoot against Liverpool, he started to the left and rotated to the right and kicked it, and he could have realistically kicked it with either foot and been perfectly fine. Like, Ousmane Dembele is insanely talented, but I never thought when he was getting pulled before halftime against Argentina that he'd ever sniff a Ballon d'Or. But yeah, here we are, as PSG just won the Champions League, and he put forth a great defensive showing and got 2 assists in the final. We also got players like Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, which Rafinha is another player. If you would have told me when he was at Leeds United that he'd be a finalist for the Ballon d'Or and at one point in time the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or, I would have called you absolutely crazy. Mohamed Salah is obviously in there, but I could have told you that. Lamine Yamal, if you would have told me when Rafinha was at Leeds United and Ousmane Dembele is getting pulled at halftime against Argentina, I wouldn't even tell you who Lamine Yamal was. I don't think anybody could have told you at that point. Maybe there was some insane scout out there that could have told you who Lamine Yamal was. I could not have done that. Salah I could have understood. But those 3 guys, no. Would never have guessed that in 100 years. So we'll have to wait and see. I would bet it goes Dembele, Yamal, Rafinha, Salah, and then probably Vitinha because of the whole he won a quadruple and and won the Nations League. Which the Nations League it's cool. Like, the United States obviously does it, the CONCACAF Nations League, but it's a bunch of friendlies, really. They tried to make friendlies more entertaining and actually mean something rather than just be friendlies. So that's what we get the Nations League for. But it was still fun. I still really enjoyed watching it. And that France-Spain game, awesome game. But back to what I was going to talk about. Back to what I was going to say. When talking about loving something, like, looking forward to something or hyping something up, I didn't expect it. Because I got to figure out how I want to word this. I did not expect to see JJ McCarthy be getting this much hype going into the season. I really did not. And that's not me being like a hater or anything, because if you remember back in the day, I was the JJ McCarthy stan while he was at Michigan. I was telling everybody, anybody could look to and say, hey, don't look at the numbers. I always heard he's better. He's not, there's no way he's better than Penix or Bo Nix. And here's the thing, we don't even know that yet. We've seen him play 1 preseason game. We don't even know that. But from what I saw at Michigan, there's no doubt in my mind that he's better than them. He's got a better arm. He's a good mover. He may not have had the same video game-esque numbers, but he can put the ball exactly where it needs to be, and he has a rocket attached to his shoulder. He just didn't need to use it all that often at Michigan. Like, people would always point to the 7-for-8 game against Penn State. When you're not throwing the football, when you're dominating the run game, why would you just start throwing the ball because you feel bad for your quarterback? No, if they can't stop the run, keep giving it to Blake Corum. Who the hell cares? It does not matter. Give the ball to the hot hand. Scratch till it itches type thing. Scratch where it itches, not till it itches. Scratch where it itches. Why would you throw it just because you feel bad for your quarterback? But in the same breath, J.D. McCarthy not throwing that much, and then when he was asked to throw while at Michigan, he would make those throws. You look at the game against Alabama as a prime example. Yes, he nearly threw an interception, I think, on his first throw of the game, but he would make big-time throws when asked upon. He has no rhythm, and then he's asked to find a rhythm when it matters most, and he did that and helped them get a national championship. That being said, he again has played 1 preseason game. I did not expect to see after 1 preseason game, and after how nobody was really talking about him that highly at that point in time when he got drafted, to now sitting here a year later, 2 years later, no, a year later, and he has a 25.5 over-under for passing touchdowns this season. And the reason why that might not seem like an outlandish number to those listening, but when you look at the fact that is projected more than Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Tua, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, and Sam Darnold, then that's where it gets like, oh, I really didn't expect to see that one coming. I'm kind of surprised. And it's easy. I mean, I can understand it. He's a very, very talented quarterback. He's got all the tools you need to be a successful quarterback. He's got a great head coach, great receivers on the outside, a great tight end, a solid running game, and a much improved offensive line. Like, you've got everything you need to succeed at this level. Everything you need. And I think he's got the right mentality. You see what he was reacting with Sam Darnold last year. He reacted the right way to every single thing. But I did not expect to see him have passing that 25.5. I can understand. That's not like an absolutely ridiculous number of touchdowns. But do you look at some of the other quarterbacks that he's above? Like right now, if you were to sit here, you could make an argument that Dak, like all those guys, you can make an argument, barring Tua, Sam Darnold, and probably Trevor Lawrence at this point, and some people might not even say Jordan Love, but all those guys could be considered in or around top 10 spots. I would not put Darnold or Tua in anywhere near those conversations, but you could make an argument for, there's probably some people out there who have those guys in there. And JJ McCarthy has not played a single game. I always have a real problem, or not, problem's not the right word, but I haven't, I guess a personal problem. Like a thing I'm battling inside myself. When it comes to ranking quarterbacks, I cannot rank you if you've never played a game. I cannot rank you. That's not fair to the people that I've seen play, because we don't know what you're going to be. But in the same breath, I don't think it's fair to rank a guy you've never seen play as high as that, and then have somebody you haven't seen play as well ranked so low because you don't think he's going to be good. Like, just rank them all at the bottom. They're all in the even playing field right now. They're all rookies. Jaden McCarthy's not a rookie. He's like the Ben Simmons rookie, Blake Griffin rookie. We're like, he's not a rookie, but he is a rookie at the same time because he didn't play last year. Maybe he could go for Rookie of the Year. That'd be kind of funny if they did that. That would be pretty hilarious. But the reason I'm bringing up JJ McCarthy like this is because I was scrolling Twitter today, and Fox Sports tweeted out something. They had a graphic on there, and it was Henry McKenna, who I'm not 100% sure who that is, but through Fox Sports, has a quarterback power rankings. And there was two things on here that really caught my eye. One of them was JJ McCarthy is listed at number 12. And they have 5 quarterbacks listed on this thumbnail thing. JJ McCarthy's ranked 12. Caleb Williams is ranked 21st. I don't really see how that's a thing that we can realistically do. Like, Caleb Williams might not, like, this is the based upon the expectations that you had on them early in the season. Like, was Henry McKenna one guy that had Caleb Williams as being a top 10 guy right off the gate? Was he one of those guys? And then now he didn't live up to that, so now he had to rank him so ridiculously low. I'm not saying Caleb Williams should be like a top 10 guy or they should flip spots entirely. I'm not saying that at all. But to be 9 spots above a guy who broke, and this is more of an indictment on the Bears than anything, about a guy who broke every single Bears rookie passing record, who threw 6 interceptions last year with 20 touchdowns, that low, comparatively to a guy we've never seen play, barring one preseason game. I don't think that's fair. That's where my problem comes in. So I saw the thumbnail. I've not clicked on the link. I clicked on it now. But I clicked on it now. And it starts at the bottom. Okay, good. I didn't want it to start at the top. I was going to scroll all the way to the bottom to make sure we got to the bottom. But number 32 is Joe Flacco. I mean, anybody on the Browns? Probably. It's probably fair that Joe Flacco's at the bottom. No offense to Joe. 31, Tyler Shuck. Cam Ward's 30. Okay, Cam Ward's not played. So, Tyler Shuck is probably going to be the starter in New Orleans. Or he should be the starter in New Orleans. Because he's better than the guys they have there. He's better than Jake Haener. He's better than Spencer Rattler. He's better than all the time. Maybe Hunter Deckers. Maybe he challenges him. But those two should be realistically in last. We've never seen them play. Like, maybe you could I would put Shedeur Sanders with the Browns. I wouldn't be shocked if a team like the Miami Dolphins traded for Dylan Gabriel before the season started. I really wouldn't be shocked. I really wouldn't. I would not be shocked by that at all, because I do think Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the Browns roster. I said that the moment they drafted him, which is crazy that he was drafted in the 5th round, but he is. He's just the best quarterback that they have on their roster. And we're not competing with a lot. 40-year-old Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. Like, it's not the greatest company to be competing with, but that's reality. But Shuck is 31, Ward's 30, Russell Wilson 29. I guess we're going to have to see who's above him because I can't really give a firm guess on who is above him. Anthony Richardson 28. Is Anthony Richardson better currently than Russell Wilson? And you know me, I love Anthony Richardson. I've always been in his corner. Except for the whole tapping yourself out of the game thing. I was not in his corner for that. But the whole thing, I do think he needs as much reps as possible. Like, you can't bench him at that point for the performance. You have to bench him based off that. If you're like, that was what my problem was when they benched him last year, is they tried to make this like, oh, we need to win games. Like, no, bench him because he tapped himself out. That's worthy. If he's struggling, that's not a right to bench him. And you can say, well, Logan, he stinks, so why wouldn't they bench him? Well, you knew that when you drafted him. He wasn't going to be someone that was going to come out the gate throwing for 5,000 yards or anything. Like, he has all the potential. He has like 20 starts career to his name, like high school, college, and NFL. Like, you knew what you were drafting. So why are you shocked that he's not very good to come out the gate? And he hasn't been healthy. He's got a fricked up shoulder. I did not like that at all. Yuck. But he's got a messed up shoulder. They're getting more tests on that. If he succeeds, that'd be cool. But I wonder how long his leash will be this year now that someone who's not 40 years old is backing him up. Because now it's Daniel Jones, who, though not as physically gifted, that's different than being not as good. He's just not as physically gifted. There's not a lot of quarterbacks in this league that are as physically gifted as Anthony Richardson. It's just Anthony Richardson can't ever seem to put the whole thing together. But Daniel Jones, I could realistically see him taking over by week 6. If Anthony Richardson struggles this year, Daniel Jones is young enough to where you can go, okay, we're going to ride with him the rest of the season. We're going to ride with him. He's not 30 yet, to my knowledge. I don't know how old Daniel Jones is, to be exact. I know he was drafted in 2019, but I don't know how old that makes him. I would not be shocked by that at all. But is Russell Wilson better than Anthony Richardson? I don't know. At this point in time. Then you've got Michael Penix at 27. Okay, we barely seen him play. He looked decent in the time we did see him play. His release, though, still frustrates me. It's not like Tim Tebow slow, but it's very drawn out, and it kind of bothers me a little bit. Not going to lie. That's always bothered me. Aaron Rodgers, 26, signed with the Steelers. He was at practice today. Don't worry, Joyce Taylor. He was at OTAs today. Or he's not OTAs. He was at practice today. Now that he's on the team, he's at practice. Okay, we didn't need to have that major freak out thing. But Aaron Rodgers, he just stinks. I really don't know what Aaron's goal is at this point. It's got to be a weird feeling though, where you're like, this is what I've done for. He got drafted in 2005. This is 2025. He's been a starting quarterback in the year since 2008. In the NFL since 2008. One of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. 4-time MVP, won a Super Bowl and all that stuff. Like, I understand it's probably hard to pack it all up and do something else. But the way he's gone about it, like, he toyed with retirement for, like, the past 6 years. Like, he learned very good from Brett Favre. He just did it a little different way. But at this point in time, after the failed Jets thing, what are the Steelers going to provide that the Jets couldn't? Like, you're just going to go 9-8. You're going to get thrashed in the playoffs again. You have DK Metcalf, that's cool, but your number 2 receiver is Robert Woods, who's 60 years old. Like, you're not winning a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're not. That's not happening. The AFC is as stacked right now as it has been in a long time. Like, the Bengals are not going to be worse than what they were last year. That is impossible, even though they are messing this whole thing up with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Well, I do know it's the Bengals, but it can't get much worse. They can't get much worse than that. You're already in a division with the Baltimore Ravens, so I guess we're going to have to wait and see because you weren't very good last year, and now you're going to a team that's not much better on paper. They're going to figure out a way to get 9-8, but they're still not a better team really on paper convincingly than that Jets team was. I just think there's a better infrastructure with the Pittsburgh Steelers that will get them to that inevitable 9-8 season. But Yeah, 26 for Rodgers, fine. Justin Fields, 25. Trevor Lawrence, 24. Good Lord, I did not see. I scrolled down too far. Did not expect to see him all the way down here. Did not want to see that all the way down. But Justin Fields at 25, fine. But I have a hard time saying that he's higher than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson started over him last year. So I have a hard time stomaching that. Bryce Young at 23, fine. Trevor Lawrence is a weird one. I think Trevor Lawrence will have a great year. He has no excuse not to. Liam Cohen's in it as coach. Brian Thomas is there for his second year. He brought in Travis Hunter. You have no excuse to be anywhere near 24. So let's see it now. Let's finally see it. Let's see it put all together. Bryce Young, I'm excited to see what he does this year. Love that they brought in Tedoroa McMillan. I'm excited to see what Xavier Legette does in year 2. I'm excited to see Bryce Young. Then 22, Kyler Murray, all the way down at 22. See, this is the problem of going in reverse, that now I don't know who's above him, so now I'm kind of like, who is better in this mind than Kyler Murray? Caleb Williams, Drake May, 21-22, or 21-20, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I like Drake May. You guys all know this. I like Drake May. I like Caleb Williams. So I don't think they should be much like astronomically higher than this. But again, JJ McCarthy being all the way at 12. Geno Smith, 19. We have Tua at 18. Sam Darnold, 17. CJ Stroud all the way down at 16. Brock Purdy, 15. Then we have Bo Nix, 14. Jordan Love, 13. JJ McCarthy, 12. And then the reasoning behind it is you could put just about anybody in this Vikings QB slot, and I'd get excited about him. But McCarthy was a top 10 pick in what's shaping out to be an incredible QB class. This year, McCarthy might look like 2023 Brock Purdy, an athletic point guard with an idyllic supporting cast. Brock Purdy's not athletic. He's a decent athlete, but he's not athletic. I don't look at Brock Purdy and go like, oh yeah, that's a great athlete right there. JJ McCarthy's a better athlete than Brock Purdy. JJ McCarthy's faster than Brock Purdy. What's the comparison with him and Brock Purdy? He has a stronger arm than Brock Purdy as well. I don't get the whole comparison apart from they've got really good weapons around him. That's about it. I think JJ McCarthy's ceiling is much higher than Brock Purdy's. But that's just me. 11, Dak. 10, Justin Herbert. Okay, so let's think about this. So Herbert's all the way down at 10. I understand Dak being an 11 because he was hurt last year. So Tua was all the way down there. So you're looking at, I mean, the top 5 is obviously got to be some order of Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts. Jay and Daniels is probably 6. So you're looking at 7, 8, 9. You're looking at, let me pull up teams on ESPN just so I could see teams. So Herbert's 10, sorry. So if Herbert's 10, no one of the Giants, nobody, Jared Goff will be in there. Where will Jared Goff be? So you got Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, and who was on that quarterback graphic thing that I talked about earlier? Oh, so wait. Am I missing somebody? So there's somebody that wasn't on that. Okay. So Jared Goff, Matt Stafford. Oh, and Baker. Okay, so I would put... So I would rank it Allen, based off last year, or going, I don't know. Top 3, Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. Allen 1, obviously. You can put the other 2, whatever you want. Burrow 4, Hurts 5, Jaden Daniels 6. I would put the Bake Show 7. I put Goff 8, Stafford 9, then Herbert's obviously 10. That's what off the top of my dome. Okay, and Baker at 9. Makes sense. Baker led the league in interceptions last year, but he had 41 touchdowns. So it's a little give and take there. Then Stafford 8, Goff is obviously going to be at 7. Yeah. Jaden Daniels 6, Hurts 5, Lamar 4. I brought this up when we did the Pro Football Focus thing. In what stratosphere is Joe Burrow better than Lamar Jackson? And without bringing up the fact that he went to a Super Bowl 10 years ago, without bringing up that, what is Joe Burrow better at than Lamar Jackson? I don't understand what the talking point is between those two. So I'm assuming Burrow's 3. Josh Allen's 3. Okay, so Burrow's 2? How? Here comes another huge statistical year from Burrow. That doesn't make him better. Huge statistical year. I don't care if he led the league in passing yards. They were losing every damn game. They didn't have a rush attack. Like, that's not, and he didn't show up in the early part of the season. So the fact they missed the playoffs is on him as well. Like, there's no world where Burrow is better than Lamar and Josh Allen. That's it. And Mahomes at 1. This is the thing I've talked about before, where I understand if Mahomes did not have his best season ever, and Mahomes is slowly, they took a lot more off of his plate because the defense is so good. Like, they don't need him to be Superman. Like, the Chiefs didn't score over 30 points till the Bills game in the playoffs. They don't need him to make these crazy throws that he did back in the day. It's not he's declining. It's that they're asking him to just do less and take what the defense gives him, and it's working out. You're winning games because you're not forcing the issue. Yes, there's not as many exciting plays, but he's still putting up an elite performance. And the thing is, he might not have been the top QB in the league last year. Might not have been. But Mahomes, the only QB on this list that is in the conversation to be a top 5 quarterback all time. So if you want to look at it like that and go, well, there's only one QB that's in that conversation, so he automatically is top 5 or top 1, then I completely understand that. I completely get that. That's why I struggle with it. Because Mahomes, based off last year, is not the best quarterback in football. But if we're talking about their all-time stuff and go like, well, he's just inevitable at this point. But I would say based off Lamar and Josh had the 2 best seasons last year, and Mahomes is better than Joe Burrow. Like, I could look at you could point out the numbers and all that great stuff, and what I want to see what they can do. Like, what is their what separates Joe Burrow from Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar? Apart from he throws for a shit ton of passing yards because his team's always losing. Like, what is the thing that he does that separates him from, okay, let's just focus on Josh and Lamar. What is the thing that separates him from those two? Like, Josh Allen has the strongest arm in the NFL. Josh Allen is one of the best mobile. He has the NFL career playoff rushing record for the quarterbacks, while also only having 4 playoff interceptions along with 20-plus passing touchdowns. If you put Joe Burrow's numbers, Lamar's numbers, and Jalen Hurts' numbers in the playoffs for touchdowns, Allen has that. So he's doing that passing the ball and running the ball. He's 6'5". He's going to hurdle a defender. Like, you never know what Josh Allen's going to do. And that's what makes him so electric, so elite, is that there's nothing that you can do to stop. You can limit Joe Burrow. You can bottle up Josh Allen in the backfield, and guess what? Like that play against the Chiefs in the regular season when he scored that touchdown to steal the game. He had like a 1% chance to score when he took off running per Next Gen Stats. And he scored it because that's one of the only guys in the league who can do that. You look at Lamar Jackson. He is the most electric player in the NFL. At the quarterback position, he is the most electric player in the NFL. Unanimous MVP. Put up the NFL record for rushing yards in a season. You cannot contain him in the backfield. People talk about his throwing, his stats in regards to being a passer. Or he's not the most elite passer. Lamar Jackson can make all the throws. He can get a little erratic at times, sure. So can the best of them. But when Lamar Jackson makes a play, goddamn, he makes a freaking play. Joe Burrow is great. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to say like Joe Burrow is this bum quarterback that shouldn't even be considered in the top 10 in the league. No, he is stapled in at number 4. But I just don't see anything that he necessarily does that would rank him above them. Like, you can point out, like, we can bring up the argument with stats and play style with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Because you can throw up passing numbers. That's just because he's losing. That's pretty easy to dissect, that he's just losing. So he just needs to throw the ball shit to you. You're not going to run the ball when you're losing. Like, it's simple as that. You have You have the best receiving duo in the league? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? You can argue like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and those guys. But those two, not even close to any. Like, who do the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs have? They're not even close to those guys at this point in time. Because I know you're going to say Travis Kelce. At this point in time. Like, the Chiefs' number one receiver is Rashee Rice. He barely played because he got hurt. The Bills' number one receiver is Khalil Shakir. The Ravens' number one wide receiver is Zay Flowers. Are any of those guys? Zay Flowers is the best one out of those three, but he's nowhere close to Jamar Chase. And I don't even really think, I think he's great. But is he that close to T. Higgins? How close is Zay Flowers to T. Higgins? Zay Flowers would probably walk onto the Bengals and be their wide receiver number 3. I don't think he'd be their wide receiver number 2. He'd definitely not be number one wide out there. Like, if you took, I hate doing this game because it's a bunch of hypotheticals here. But if you took Joe Burrow out of that, what numbers would he still lead the league in passing yards? Would he still do that? Because that's the question. I don't think he's one of those guys. I think he can make some great throws. I do think he is an elite quarterback. Don't get it twisted. But there is a difference between him and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. In my humble opinion, of course. I don't care if he went to a Super Bowl. So did Trent Dilfer. So did Kerry Collins. So did Jeff Hostetler. I really don't care if he went to a Super Bowl. I don't. He didn't win it. And then guess what? That was a while ago. So I don't really care. His defense has scored more points in the fourth quarter than he has. So I don't really care what Joe Burrow has done in regards to, oh, he's Ice Joe. Joe Cool. New second coming of Joe Cool, like Joe Montana. He didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. His defense does it all for him. They call it Burrowhead. His defense shut that game out. Chiefs decided we're not going to coach anymore in that game. Like, I don't want to hear this Burrowhead. I despise the Chiefs. And I'm not saying that gives me, like, authority over everybody else that thinks otherwise. But I'm tired of hearing Burrowhead because that was so long ago. And it's annoying. And I always cheer for the Bengals over the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. But people talk about, like, he puts forth some insane performance in that game. And he didn't. That's what's annoying. And we still talk about that game. Still talk about it. Like, how many Super Bowls has Josh Allen been to? I don't give two shits. Well, now I guess I could throw how many MVPs has Joe Burrow won and how many MVPs has Joe Burrow won. But yeah, Joe Burrow's 4. And I'm not going to give out that was my guess for what his rankings would be. But we're going to obviously do the TLBS staff quarterback rankings coming up, like, in a couple months or so. Because we do that every single year. It's my favorite thing to do. But I want to talk about this as well. The NFL Network posted this on Instagram. Dark Horse MVP candidates for 2025. I'm going to say this right now, and I don't care if this sounds mean. All you running backs and wide receivers on this list, get the hell off because you're not winning an MVP in the NFL anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong because I would love to see a wide receiver or running back win an MVP. The last non-quarterback or running back to win an MVP was friggin' Lawrence Taylor back in the 80s. Like, if you're a quarterback and you are on a good team, or your record's good, you've got a very good shot at winning MVP. Not guaranteed. But if you're like Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Travis Hunter is on this list, like those 3 guys, get off. You're not winning MVP. I'm so sorry to break the news to you. You're not. So the Dark Horse MVP candidates are pretty much anybody not named Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Other than those guys, every other person in the league is a Dark Horse MVP. So I don't get this whole who's the Dark Horse MVP this year. Everybody in the league that plays quarterback, barring those 4. Because I don't think anybody would be surprised those 4 won it. Everybody would be surprised if anybody else won that MVP. Because those 4 guys have been the top 4 guys for the past however many years now. No one's going to be shocked if they ever came away with an MVP. I would be floored if Jared Goff ever came away with an MVP. Absolutely floored. Baker Mayfield, I'd be floored. Like the other quarterbacks on this list. You've got Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, CJ Stroud, and Jordan Love. I would be floored if all of those guys won it. Absolutely floored. If any of those 4 guys, or any of those however many guys, came into the top 4 guys and took their chain, which wouldn't be taking their chain, just be adding on to the chains, taking Joe Burrow's chain, no MVP, haven't asked. I'm joking, obviously. But, yeah, I would say the closest one to winning an MVP on here is probably Jaden Daniels. Probably. I mean, Jared Goff has got a good chance because he's on the best team. I mean, the Lions just won 15 games. It's going to be intriguing to see how actually, no, Jared Goff probably will be because it's a whole new coaching staff on offense. Starting center just retired, so that's a big loss in the offensive line. Like, this is a year where people are going to look at Jared Goff and go, okay, let's see how you do now. You had a generational play caller in LA with Sean McVay. You had a generational play caller with Ben Johnson in Detroit. Let's see how you do now with, I don't remember who their offensive coordinator is now. But let's see how you do now. So Jared Goff might be the next guy in regards to like dark horse MVP. I don't even know if I would consider Jalen Hurts a dark horse MVP at this point. I mean, didn't he come second in MVP like not too long ago? And he just won a Super Bowl MVP? So I guess he shouldn't really be considered dark horse MVP either. But I think talent-wise, like Herbert's the best on here. Talent-wise. But him and Daniels, I think Jordan Love's insanely talented. I don't know if I could see him win an MVP because that division, the NFC North, is a freaking shit show. I mean, shit show in a good way. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen there. Because the Vikings got better on paper. The Bears got better. The Lions are a team that just won 15 games. The Packers just cut Jair Alexander and have no corners on the roster. So, I don't know how good the Packers are going to be. I'm intrigued to see what Matthew Golden does, the guy they drafted out of Texas. I'm very intrigued to see him, but I don't see that. If I had to bet, I would probably guess the Packers coming last. If I had to bet right now, it feels so weird to say that. That feels so weird to say that. Because last year was the Bears. And the Bears, what they finished with 5 wins last year. If you're looking at, this is per Fox Sports again, the odds for a team who didn't make the playoffs last year going into the playoffs this year. Team with the best odds, the 49ers. Obviously, the 49ers and the Bengals. Those 2 teams are the best odds. Makes sense. Again, the Bengals and 49ers, both those teams cannot be as bad as what they were last year. The 49ers physically cannot be as hurt as what they were last year. It is impossible to be that hurt again. Then third is the Jaguars. Fourth, the Falcons. Fifth, the Cowboys. Which Cowboys feels kind of low, doesn't it? No one feels kind of low. But the Jaguars and Falcons are in terrible divisions. So, and that makes sense from that aspect. Dolphins at 6. The Patriots are in 14. I would flip the Patriots and Dolphins. I've been on that train for like a month or so now. That's what my gut is telling me at this point. Then we have the Cardinals at 7. Seahawks 8. Bears 9. Panthers 10. Titans 11. Which, again, terrible division. Colts 12. Raiders 13. Patriots 14. Saints 15. Jets 16. Browns 17. Giants 18. I would say the Saints are the worst team in the NFL. That's just me. That's my guess. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. But I just feel like they don't have any real talent on their roster, and you're going with a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach and a first-year offensive coordinator, Nussmeier. So it's an intriguing combination that they got down in New Orleans. Maybe they just absolutely ball out and just take the league by storm and do exactly what the frickin' Commanders did last year. Like, that could be really fun to see. It could be. And then you look at around the league, you look at some of those quarterbacks on those teams, like the Giants. There has to be, like, Jameis is probably going to get traded before the season starts, right? I highly doubt they're going to keep Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. So maybe they trade Russ. They got to trade one of them. They're not going to keep both of them. Because Jackson Dart's going to be, I would presume, to be the backup going into the season. Or they're going to do it like Lamar Jackson, RG3, and Joe Flacco. If they want to do it like that, fine. But you look at some of the quarterbacks that could get benched. I saw this from Bleacher Report on Twitter, which Bleacher Report's always a very fun place to see things. Because quarterbacks who could get benched in 2025. It's from Bleacher Report again. First one that popped up, Russell Wilson. This is why I brought this up. Because Russell Wilson, I think, does have a good chance to get benched because they drafted Jackson Dart in the first round. Not only that, they traded back into the first round to take him. Jackson Dart's, at this point in his career, for Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart will get the fans more excited than Russell Wilson. Prime Russell Wilson, different story. But we're not looking at prime Russell Wilson. We're looking at 37, 38-year-old Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart, rookie, can move a little bit, likes to run people over, which is not necessarily the greatest idea in the world, but could provide some excitement for the team. So I think there's a chance Russell Wilson gets benched. Sam Darnold, I've brought this one up before. I have brought this one up before because I like Jalen Milroe. And I like the idea of Jalen Milroe and Mike McDonald's idea of his offense. I know he's a defensive-minded head coach, but coming from Baltimore, coming from Michigan, being a part of run-first teams, Baltimore coming from a team that had Lamar Jackson at quarterback, in regards to athleticism, not the same player as Lamar Jackson at all, but he's a super athlete at the quarterback position. And he's going to be used in some packages, I would imagine, at some point this year. He's got to be. He's too talented. He's raw, obviously, but he's got a lot of talent. I think he couldn't have landed in really a better spot for his talents than Seattle, if I'm being honest. And Sam Darnold, yes, he's coming off a very good season, but we've seen one-hit wonders before in the NFL. We've seen that. I'm not wishing anything bad on Sam Darnold. I like him. I like the redemption story, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. This next one does. Dak Prescott. Who is going to bench Dak Prescott? Isn't he the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? That alone will keep him in the starting job. That alone. Because if you have a bunch of money tied to somebody, you're going to be given a whole lot longer leash than someone who's not very good, not paid as much. Like, you're really going to sit here and tell me Joe Milton is going to bench Dak Prescott. That's what you're telling me right now. Joe Milton is going to come in to Dallas and at some point in the year is going to take Dak Prescott's spot. I know Joe Milton's a very fun player to watch in practice. It doesn't always click in games. He is the perfect practice player. Perfect practice player. And he looked good against the Bills, in the last week of the regular season, against the backups and the third stringers. There's no chance in God's green earth that Dak Prescott, who again finished second in the MVP voting 2 years ago, is going to get benched for Joe Milton. There's no chance in hell. I would be floored if that happened. Again, he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL per contract, and he came second in the MVP 2 years ago. He's coming off an injury, sure. But it's not like he played bad last year. We're seeing him going this year. Sam Darnold was bad for 5 years before going to the Giants. Or going to the Vikings, sorry. Russell Wilson's been teetering on getting benched for the past 4 seasons now. Like, they have a recent history of almost getting benched. Dak doesn't. And he's not getting benched for Joe Milton. He's not getting benched for Will Grier either. He's the other quarterback on the roster. Not happening. Tua, similar story. Who is he going to get benched for? They just paid him. I don't think Tua is as good as Dak. No, I don't. I don't think Tua is that amazing. No, I don't. Are you going to sit here and tell me you're going to bench Tua for Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers? No. That's not going to happen. You just paid him $55 million a year. Those guys right there are not going to scare Tua. The closest one there is going to be Quinn Ewers. Zach Wilson does not scare me at getting this job. If they trade for Dylan Gabriel, that'd be a different story. But I don't think there's any chance in hell that he gets benched. If the Dolphins are bad, I think he'll get hurt. I think Tua will probably get hurt, and that's the way he'll get benched, I guess. So he'll get out for the rest of the season. By week 7, I would be kind of surprised if he's still playing, because I don't think the Dolphins are going to be a very good team. And it doesn't mean they're going to bench Tua. I don't think they're going to bench him for none of the quarterbacks they have on the roster are anywhere close to being as good as him. I don't even think he's that great. If they had the one quarter, what was the name of this thing? Which quarterbacks are on the hot seat? Who could get benched? Anthony Richardson is one of the quarterbacks that could get benched. Anthony Richardson is one of those quarterbacks because he has Daniel Jones as a backup, who you could say is on an equal playing field with him right now. I think Anthony Richardson is more talented than Daniel Jones. But Anthony Richardson has not played great recently. The fans are not on his side, really, in Indianapolis, as far as I can tell. So if we're talking about which quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers is also on this list. Who is Aaron Rodgers getting benched for? Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, Skylar Thompson? Like, that's the other thing. You can't just start listing. I know this is what this is for, just to list quarterbacks and go like, oh man, this is a big name so people will engage with it, which is exactly what I'm doing, so I'm feeding into it. But realistically, you look at the options that they have, they're not going to get benched. Aaron Rodgers might be 41 years old. He is not getting benched for Mason Rudolph or Will Howard. There's no way that's happening. I could see Russell Wilson get benched. I can see Sam Darnold getting benched. I cannot see a world where Dak Prescott gets benched for Joe Milton and Tua gets benched for frickin' Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson. Or Aaron Rodgers for Mason Rudolph. Like, if I was ranking quarterbacks who are the most likely to get benched, number one would be Anthony Richardson. Number one would be Anthony Richardson. Because they brought in a guy in Daniel Jones who has NFL experience, who can do similar-ish things to that of Anthony Richardson, that they can move on with him. And he's not super old like Joe Flacco. You can move on with him and feel comfortable for the time being with him as your starter. He would be the guy that I would say, yeah, that's the guy who's most likely to get benched. He's not even listed on here. Like, they just paid Dak Prescott makes $60 million a year annually, I think. And you're gonna tell me he's gonna get benched for Joe Milton? Come on, man. Really? We're not being serious here, are we? We're not actually. You're joking, right? Oh, you're actually joking? You gotta be like pulling my leg or something here. But like again, Russell Wilson, I understand. Sam Darnold, I understand. Like, I'm kind of surprised they just didn't throw in something like Geno Smith in here. Like, I'm really not surprised about that. I'm not saying Geno should get benched. Geno Smith has no fear of getting benched at this point because his only other quarterback, I think, is Cam Miller. I think. I don't even know if they have anybody else at quarterback on that team. Is Aiden O'Connell still there? Either way, Geno Smith's not getting benched. But again, I just think Anthony Richardson is the most likely, and he's not even on here. Oh, my goodness. But with that being said, I guess that's all I've got for you today on this new edition of the Logan Blackman Show. Again, I'm sorry that we took a little bit of a break. Needed a little break, just really tired, got rejuvenated, all that great stuff. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you did not, I sincerely apologize. Try to be better next time. Make sure to check out all the different links to all the different social media accounts, podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, all that great stuff. I've been Logan Blackman. I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, I sincerely apologize. Try to be better next time. And I will see you guys later. Peace.